So guess what? We have a brand new update that just went live for Cyberpunk. Check it out right here. It is in the form of Hotfix 1.22. So we're going to be going over the full patch notes in just a moment and talking about all of the changes included in this patch. Plus, we have new comments from CD Projekt RED about upcoming content for the game. Also, a dataminer has discovered once again new story DLC clues in the files of Cyberpunk. These are a bit more specific, and I really want to go over these with you guys, so let's dive in. Hey everyone, what's happening? Open World Games here, hope you're doing good, and yes, we're talking about more Cyberpunk news. It seems like CD Projekt RED is not giving up on this one, as indicated by these updates. So let's go ahead and dive into the full patch notes for Hotfix 1.22. So let's dive in. It says Hotfix for Cyberpunk is live for PC, console, and Stadia. This update addresses the most frequently reported issues since the last patch and introduces further improvements to stability and performance of the game. Here is the list of changes. Now we have a bunch of quest and open world stuff that has been fixed regarding like side activities, quest lines, and things like that. Now there are visual improvements as well. It says fixed various issues related to clipping in NPC's clothing. UI has been addressed, fixed an issue where subtitles were not properly aligned in Arabic language version. Stability and performance, various memory management improvements, reducing the number of crashes and other optimizations, improved GPU performance of skinning and cloth rendering. And then console specific, it says GPU and ESRAM optimizations and improvements on Xbox One, memory management improvements on PlayStation 5, and then there's Stadia specific stuff right here as well. So that's really cool to see that once again they are updating the game, and we have of course community reactions to this update. Let's take a look and see what you guys are saying right here under the community Reddit. We have Duckstar who says, I wish consoles could get a weather option akin to Ghost of Tsushima added. I've only ever seen rain in scripted quests and at night, and definitely needs to be more dynamic. All the quest issues people seem to have, I've never experienced apart from the usual glitches and bugs. No mention of the car camera being fixed on consoles, as it gets stuck in first person a lot, but the quick fix I found is to bring up your phone and it sort of resets itself. Yeah, that bug is also a notorious bug, at least for me as well, so I think they need to address that as well. So you know what, we'll see what happens with that one. Now the biggest question is, how's the game on the PS4? And this guy hasn't played since update 1.04, and so as it says, wait a few months, enjoy other games. So yeah, I don't know, we'll see what happens on the old gen hardware. It's a different story for Cyberpunk currently, but it's good to see they're updating the game. Now also we have brand new comments from CD Projekt RED. Let's check it out right here. It says CD Projekt RED release of Cyberpunk was riddled with bugs. Among other problems, the game has generated considerable hype leading up to its release. As many veteran gamers know, hype can be one of the biggest monsters in the industry, with players' expectations inflated. CD Projekt RED has received massive backlash with their initial release of Cyberpunk was perceived as incomplete. Now the development team has started focusing on creating Cyberpunk DLC. So they discuss some stuff here. This comes straight from CD Projekt RED. They say that they recently discussed the current status of Cyberpunk during an April 23rd earnings call. Their discussion covered a wide variety of topics, but one that may especially interest fans had to do with the current allocation of team resources. It says, what part of the team currently works on repairing Cyberpunk? Roughly what part of development costs will not be capitalized and will go on sales costs? Asked CD Projekt RED CFO Piotr Nawalczyk. I don't even know how to say that name, I apologize. He says, it's too early to talk about 2021. We don't want to reveal it, but as I've already mentioned, a big part of the team is still working on improving Cyberpunk. That's approximately 40% of the team. Over time, we believe this team will become smaller and less effort will be dedicated to improving, patching, and updating Cyberpunk. But as we said, we'll work on it for as long as necessary. That's not something we plan to finish in 1 or 2 weeks from now. We definitely want to make Cyberpunk as perfect as possible. Of course, we have a roadmap coming up here. But furthermore, the article says this: while it wasn't stated directly that the remaining 60% of the team is working on new content, it may be implied, especially given CD Projekt RED's roadmap for Cyberpunk 2077 in 2021. So yeah, we are going to be getting a combination of course, free DLC and paid expansions. It's not too certain, you know, how these will be released, of course, or when they will be released. I'm hoping that we start seeing free DLC trickle in by the end of summer at the very least. Cross our fingers, because it's going to be small additions, of course, much like The Witcher 3 did. So just make note of that. Don't expect anything groundbreaking in regards to new content too soon in 2021. So we have other comments about that as well from CD Projekt RED. It says, although the development team is focusing on free Cyberpunk DLC first, there will also be paid Cyberpunk DLC. The development team included information about their DLC plans in a secret message within the trailer, as reported by Rock, Paper, Shotgun. It says, but before we get to paid DLC, we'll first be kicking off our free DLC program in early 2021. Just like with The Witcher 3, expect an assortment of free DLC packs to begin hitting Night City, dropping a bunch of cool stuff that'll inject even more life into the world of the dark future, read the message. Now, it says, as for CD Projekt RED's plans for paid DLC, those seem more story-focused. Our plan expansions will take you even deeper into the world of Cyberpunk 2077, offering substantial story-driven content that will give you tough choices to make through impactful narratives that you won't soon forget, the message explained. So yeah, something is coming. They're definitely working on stuff for sure. Let me know if you guys are excited at all, or if you're just like, meh, I'm done with Cyberpunk at this point. You can be honest in the comments down below, because you guys know I love highlighting your comments, which, by the way, I'm going to be getting to your top comments in this video as well. Let's take a look at this first. It says Cyberpunk 2077 data miner finds unreleased quest descriptions. So it goes on to say this: Cyberpunk's 2077's big 1.2 patch rolled out at the end of last month, promising a huge amount of bug fixes and performance improvements, and delivering significant boost for PS4 Pro at least. I've heard that's actually running pretty good on PS4 Pro, by the way. It says, but it seems the patch may have quietly added some content for upcoming DLC updates, as the data miner has discovered new files referencing previously unseen Episode 1 Street Story quests. It says, discovered by a member of the modding community who goes by the username Romulus is here. The quest descriptions were recently added during the 1.2 patch using modding tool CP77 tools. Romulus has been unpacking archived data to browse quest files for some time and told me he does this as a hobby. Yeah, there's a lot of data miners finding some really cool stuff for sure. Now, furthermore, it says this: Romulus told me that the main quests in Cyberpunk are normally split into 3 categories: Prologue, Part 1, and Epilogue, numbered from Q000 to Q204. A couple of quests, however, can be found in the localization directory where they are named, Q301, outside the perimeters of the regular quests in the game. They're also named Story Episode 1, presumably short for Story Episode 1. Romulus credited fellow community member Morning Spice for encouraging him to explore the text database. Now, Romulus believes this name confirms the very first large story-based DLC, and although a few of these files have been in the game since launch, a significant amount of content with the Episode 1 tag was added in the recent 1.2 patch. And the new additions are a lot more interesting. Romulus showed me 2 screenshots showing how his search hits for Episode 1 went from 5 in the game's 1.03 launch version to 2.20 after 1.2 patch. Eurogamer also separately checked the files and was able to view the Episode 1 quest. So it's cool that Eurogamer here verified that what is being said by the data miner is also true for basically Cyberpunk and its file base, I guess you would say, that it has been updated with this information. So it would be really, really cool to see more story content for sure. Now, it says this: digging into these Episode 1 files, and you'll find story plots for street stories that are currently playable in vanilla, currently playable in vanilla Cyberpunk 2077, as spotted by community member Lexi Graff. For context, CDPR used the term street stories to describe around 75 small quests ahead of Cyberpunk release. Some of these only have placeholder text, but others list objectives and email exchanges, including a discussion between 2 characters about a quest called Ragnar There's mention of a hostage situation involving a group called Kurt's Militia. Another street story requires players to find a hidden den of netrunners. And there's mention of a bomb in a swimming pool. So you can see how they really want to go in depth more with the activities that go on around Night City. And one of the highlights, of course, with Cyberpunk 2077 is what? The side quests. So it would be really cool to see them continue to expand, the side activities within Night City. So that's something that I would absolutely love to see for sure. The street stories spread out through the city and something more to do within the actual city itself. Because a lot of you guys know that the city feels sometimes lifeless, and a lot of you guys actually want to see social events in the game as well, where you can go to bars, play mini games and that sort of thing too. Now check this out. PC was by far the best-selling platform for Cyberpunk, and the modders know this. In fact, a recent Lamborghini was added to the game. This thing looks freaking cool. I really hope in the future to cover more of the mods for Cyberpunk 2077. So look out for that. By the way, the new comic book is out right now for Cyberpunk right here. Check it out. It's called You Have My Word. And I guess it's really good. According to this review, and I don't want to put any spoilers in here because this review does have a couple spoilers, but I guess it's really good. I went to the section here of their review where they talk about the good and also the bad, and they say that there's really not much bad about the comic book so far, that it's actually really setting up a very, very cool story. So it definitely has my interest for sure, and I want to see more stories like this one in the game, like really, really fleshed out in the game. That'd be really cool. All right, now it's time to go over your top comments. You better believe it. Remember, leave a comment down below. It could end up in a future video, so let's do this. The last video I did was about a huge leak revealing big updates landing this summer. So there was a recent leak indicating that we would be getting a big update to Cyberpunk 2077 that will include new content, and that would be dropping sometime this summer, which to me probably sounds about right. I would think so. And I don't know if CD Projekt RED is going to be making an appearance at the E3 2021 digital event. We'll see. Maybe they would want to showcase something related to Cyberpunk there. We shall see. All right, let's get into the top comments. Drogan says, everything is huge on this channel. Don't question it. Yes. Mega Men says this, all I want from this, customized cybernetics, customized cars and tattoos, also barbers and plastic surgeons. And Dat True MG says, I really hope they make a comeback. Dude, I hear you. I totally agree. I personally really love CD Projekt RED's work. They've had such a rough time with this one, Cyberpunk of course. Go back to The Witcher. Go back to what they're really, really known for. They just need to tap back into that. All right, Austin goes on to say this. I love this game, I do, but man, this would have been a perfect game if they waited a year or two. It's gut-wrenching, isn't it? Man, oh man, that really does suck. Something happened where they got so pressured into releasing this game early. I feel like it was a combination of like pressure from investors, especially investors. I feel like they were like, I'm not waiting anymore. You better release this game. Like, you've been teasing this thing for like 8 years. Get it out. It's almost coming up to a decade. This is unheard of. So in response, I feel like CD Projekt RED is making the right choice by going forward, not marketing their games too soon. That's going to be super important for their success going forward, and to make sure that they manage expectations. Wow. All right. We're really going off-road with the Porsche today. All right. So Nick says, considering this game has led to me insane hype and insane disappointment, I'm honestly surprised I still have this much hope for it. It is in a much better initial place than No Man's Sky or any other redemption story, and I have faith they will turn this game into what it was supposed to be, if not better, given some time. Yeah, it's going to take some time. Santiago says, here's hoping it gets polished with a consistent 30 frames per second on PS4. I'm still extremely excited for the game and want to play it so bad. There is immense potential with this game. Like, with the refunds for the game, about, I think it was 30,000 copies were refunded. That's out of tens of millions of copies, of course. So a lot of people apparently are really holding on to the game just in case, you know, like, hey, maybe this could be something special in a year and I can actually really enjoy it as a Cyberpunk experience that it was supposed to be. I think that's the feeling from the community. Will we see developers learn from this mistake? I'm not too sure. You know, we've seen recent rough launches with Cyberpunk and Outriders and these games initially sell extremely well. Like, they do very well, and that's all that really matters to these publishers, because hey, they could just fix it and just start working on the sequel. So I don't know. I feel like that's the new mentality, or the constant mentality within the gaming industry. But hopefully things change. We'll see. But thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for more Cyberpunk 2077 news and updates. And of course, I am covering Outriders, and I do want to add another game into the rotation soon. I'm looking at some really cool stuff. So let me know what you guys would actually like to see from me. So sound off in the comments. But thank you for watching, and I will see you all next time. Take care.